Namaste. In the first two videos, I emphasized the usage of mother tongue to learn a foreign language, and in the second video also highlighted the basic process of defining the objective of language learning and what kind of things you can follow to make it easier, to make it simpler and make it more relevant for your career prospects, for your personal life, etc. In this last video, I have tried to answer some of the basic questions people do ask me, and these are my opinions. Again, you may have different opinion, and depends on your requirements. These answers also vary, but these are my opinions. So let's dive into it. The first and foremost, and it's very important these days, is in the age of artificial intelligence smartphones, do I even need to learn a foreign language or for any other language other than mine? The question is yes, you do. There are three reasons for that. Number one, artificial intelligence and smartphones are not smart enough to do everything. They are still work in progress, and I don't know, it may be a decade or maybe 2 decades where they can replace human needs of translating. Second, they are inefficient. So far, what I found, even the translations I used, they need an oversight. You need to know the language. Even if you're using a translation tool, you need to know the language to see if there is any error, because they do make errors. It's just it's not A to B translation. It's a context-based translation, and they need human oversight still. And the third, they are not smart enough to replace people. If you are doing a business dealings with the person of another country, and you're going to use that language to communicate, then it's better you speak it. Mr. Nelson Mandela, he said that if you learn the language of the person, it touches their heart. Surely, artificial intelligence will be smart enough one day so that you don't need to learn language, but the day hasn't come yet, and I don't know when it will come. But till that time, you need to know the language. If it matters you in personal professional life, yes. If not, then of course it's again a personal interest. The second question is also important because it's asked a lot. Can I do it alone? Or do I need a teacher to learn a language? The answer is yes and no. It all depends on, again, your skills. It's your skills. For me, I have been studying languages for more than 10 years. So I don't really need a teacher at the moment. I can grasp basics on my own, start practicing my own. But I still need an oversight of a native speakers who can correct my mistakes. Now, that can be a teacher, that can be your friend, that can be a YouTube software, sorry, not YouTube program or a AI program which can correct your mistakes. That's where you need somebody or something to correct your mistake, a sort of oversight. And it all depends on your objective again, and where are you, what kind of time commitment you have, and how much good you are in grasping those sounds, those basics, those linguistics, the structures. So if you can do it your own, yes, you can do it alone. Else, it's not a bad idea to have a teacher if you have the budget and if you have a time. The next frequent question being asked is, do I need to live in a new country or the country whose language I'm trying to learn? Well, it's certainly beneficial if you live in a country whose language you are trying to acquire, but it's not mandatory. You can learn it anywhere, anytime, thanks to internet, thanks to social media, thanks to YouTube, anything else. I speak English language. It's not my mother tongue. I have never lived in any of the countries where English is the predominant language of day-to-day life, but I can do it from India. And all of you who are watching this video, most of you have never left the country of your motherland, and but you still use it day-to-day basis. So it's not necessary. The next question is also important. Will it cost too much time, money, and efforts to learn a foreign language or another language? Now, it's very subjective. As I said in my second video, that some people spend years and years, but they don't get confidence to speak a language. Some people just speak a month and they start speaking. It's very difficult to say because if you're learning a language whose roots are very similar to your mother tongue, or do you have some similarities? Let's say if you're learning Romance language, European languages who have a Latin as a common roots, then it becomes easier. Then the time will be less, efforts will be less. But if you're learning, let's say from English to Chinese, then it may be time. It may take some time. Of course, efforts will be more, and it also depends how far you want to go. If you are achieving just basic fluency for tourism purposes, for just a day-to-day basic conversations also, it doesn't take much time. But if you want to achieve that again, the fluent level, writing level, then of course it requires efforts. And the question of money again depends on the answer I gave you. Can you do it alone? Do you need a teacher? Do you need oversight? So that depends. And the last and the most important, it's, do I need certificates? Do you need certificates? It depends again. It also again depends on for what purpose are you going to use it. Some, if you are living in a country and they require you to produce certificates to be considered for a job opportunity, yes, you need to have a certificates, and it's going to cost some money. You need to finish, you need to write in exams and all. And so for basic level, when you start learning, don't think about certificates. Only go for them if it's necessary, absolutely necessary. If you want to become a translator, if you want to become an interpreter, a lot of things which require you to produce certificates, then of course you need that. But otherwise, it's day-to-day communication. Like I am talking in Spanish, talking Russian and German and Chinese. Well, if I have to go for certificates, if it's needed, then I'll go. Otherwise, I just use them. I'm using them in day-to-day situations, and it's working fine. Hopefully, all these three videos where I explained my language learning journey will make you comfortable in approaching your target language in the future. And don't be scared of languages. They are meant to communicate with the people, and if you treat them in that way and don't get and stop being scared of those alphabets, grammar rules, then I think the language learning will be interesting, and you'll be able to get the results you wanted. And if you have any questions, comments, feedback, and any interesting tips on how did you learn a foreign language, please write them down in the comments below. Till the next video, bye. Namaste.